In our last example, we want to look at finding the x and y intercepts for a linear function using Symbolab, interpreting those values, and then using Symbolab to predict when a company's profit will exceed a particular target. So the profit of a company increased steadily over their first 10 years. The following profit function gives the company's total profit in thousands of dollars for producing and selling X units in hundreds over the 10-year period. So we're given a total profit function. We want to use Symbolab to find and interpret each of those intercepts. So we'll ask Symbolab to find all intercepts for, or just intercepts for, this given function. It will output both the x and the y-intercept. The x-intercept is given to us in fractional form, but we can just input that fraction to get the approximate decimal value. And we have a y-intercept of 0, negative 578.06, and an x-intercept of approximately 20.3829, 0. What we want to do is interpret these two values, but first we need to go back to some important pieces of information in our problem. The profit function gives the company's total profit in thousands of dollars. So in order to make sense of this number, the first thing that we need to do is multiply it by 1,000, which means we'll actually have a value of negative 578,060 dollars, since we already know that's our profit. So, and then we can take our value in part B. We know that X is in hundreds of units. We'll take that value and multiply it by 100 to get 2038.29. Now we can talk about interpreting these values since we have them in the correct units. In part A, our y-intercept is telling us that when X is 0, so meaning before production has started, the company spent $578,060 to begin production. So before we produce a single unit, if that profit value is negative, that means that represents how much money we had to spend just to get to the point to be ready to begin production. In part B, we're given a y value of 0, which means our profit is equal to 0. When our profit is equal to 0, that means we're breaking even. Our revenue equals our cost. So this tells us that the company will break even once they have sold at least, and we need to go ahead and round this up, because if we rounded this down, 2,038 units wouldn't be enough. We have to sell a little bit more than that. We can't sell a fraction of a unit, so we'll round this up to 2,039 units. Then we want to use Symbolab to predict when the company's profit will exceed $1,097,010. To do that, we'll take our function and ask Symbolab to solve it. Set equal to this value that we're after. Oh, I've got the wrong symbol in there. Minus 578.06 is equal to, but we need to make actually one adjustment before we do that. So we want to know when our company's profit will exceed this value that's over $1 million, but we need to keep in mind that our total profit is represented in thousands of dollars. So what we actually need to do is take this result and divide it by 1,000 to get 1,097.01. That's the number we should look at with our model because that value is in thousands of dollars. So we'll set our model equal to 1,097.01. And solving, we get 59.0645 approximately. So we can say that when the company has produced and sold at least 5,907 units, because we take that value, that output, and multiply it by 100, since X is in hundreds, and we round up because we need to make sure we hit or exceed that goal. So when the company has produced and sold at least 5,907 units, then they'll exceed that target profit. And again, this was that X value that we had of 59.0645 multiplied by 100 to get approximately 5,906.45. But we're rounding up to make sure we exceed that goal. Rounding down to 5,906 would cause us to fall short.